In the sun-drenched hills of ancient Thessaly, where olive groves whispered secrets to the wind and the scent of myrtle filled the air, there lived a young shepherd named Icarus. He was not the Icarus who flew too close to the sun, but a different tale born not of myth, but of the quiet wisdom passed down through generations. His grandfather, a man whose eyes held the depth of the Aegean and whose voice carried the rhythm of the sea, was the keeper of stories. Under the sprawling canopy of a stone pine tree by the edge of a clear, babbling stream, Icarus would gather each evening, a worn leather scroll tucked under his arm, to hear the fables of old.
"Listen, child," his grandfather would begin, his voice a low rumble like distant thunder.
Long before the great city of Athens rose on its Acropolis, before the Iliad was sung and the Odyssey sailed the stars, there were fables. Not tales of gods and heroes, but of creatures small and great who spoke in the language of the heart. They were the lessons of the earth, told in the voice of the fox, the wisdom of the tortoise, the caution of the wolf. And so the stories began. One evening, the wind carried the scent of rain, and the sky darkened with the promise of a storm. Today, his grandfather said, his voice grave, we speak of the fox and the crow. Ah, Icarus murmured, settling his back against the cool stone. The one where the fox flatters the crow into dropping its cheese. Oh yes, the old man smiled, a crinkling around his eyes. But remember, Icarus, the fable is not merely about flattery. It is about the danger of vanity. The crow, proud of its beautiful voice, believed the fox's lies. It opened its beak and the cheese fell. The fox, swift and cunning, seized it. The crow, having lost its prize, was left with only its empty beak, and a lesson that the praise of the wicked, especially when it serves their own ends, is a trap woven from honeyed words. Icarus nodded, the rain beginning to patter softly on the leaves. So the lesson is to be wary of those who speak too sweetly.
Indeed, his grandfather said,
but also to remember that pride can blind us. The crow saw only the praise, not the fox's hunger.
It valued the flattery more than its own sustenance.
The fable teaches us to value substance over superficial charm, and to guard our possessions, whether they be cheese, or wisdom, or peace of mind, against those who seek to steal them. The next night, under a sky ablaze with stars, the story shifted. Now the old man said, we speak of the tortoise and the hare. Icarus leaned forward.
The race. The hare so fast, so sure of victory, and the tortoise so slow, so steady. Yes, his grandfather nodded.
But the fable is not simply about speed versus perseverance. It is about the arrogance of the swift. The hare, believing his speed was a guarantee of victory, stopped to rest.
He slept.
He mocked the tortoise. He believed the race was his, and in his arrogance he lost.
The tortoise, though slow, never stopped. He kept his pace, his focus, his purpose.
He won not by being faster, but by being consistent, by refusing to be distracted by hubris.
Was the hare not clever?
Icarus asked.
Clever.
Yes. But cleverness without discipline is a gift wasted, the old man replied. The hare had the gift of speed, but he lacked the wisdom to use it wisely. The tortoise had the gift of patience, and he used it.
The fable teaches us that persistence and focus can overcome even the most formidable natural advantages, provided we do not become complacent.
Days turned into weeks.
The rain ceased, and the sun returned, warming the earth. The stories continued, each one a lesson carved into the heart of the young shepherd.
One evening, the wind carried a different scent, the tang of the sea, and something else, something sharp and metallic. Tonight, his grandfather said, his voice low and serious, we speak of the wolf and the lamb. Icarus felt a chill. The one where the wolf, having no reason to eat the lamb, invents 1,000 excuses. Exactly, the old man said. The wolf is powerful, the lamb is weak. But the wolf does not hunt because he is hungry. He hunts because he desires.
He invents reasons. The lamb muddied his water, he disturbed his sleep, he spoke ill of him.
He twists the truth, he lies, he uses his power to justify his desire. The lamb, innocent, tries to reason to appeal to justice, but the wolf is deaf to reason. He is a tyrant, using the law as a weapon, not a shield.
And the lamb?
Icarus asked, his voice small. The lamb is innocent, his grandfather said. But in the world of power, innocence is not always enough. The fable teaches us that injustice often wears the face of law, that the powerful will always find a reason to prey on the weak, and that sometimes the only truth is the truth of power itself. It is a cautionary tale about the dangers of tyranny and the importance of vigilance, even when the wrongdoer wears the mask of justice. Icarus sat in silence, the weight of the stories heavy in his chest. He looked at his grandfather, whose face was a map of time and wisdom. Are these fables true? He asked softly. The old man smiled, a slow, gentle thing.
Truth, Icarus, is not always found in the facts.
It is found in the resonance.
The fox teaches us about vanity. The tortoise teaches us about perseverance.
The wolf teaches us about injustice.
They are not stories of what happened, but stories of what is.
They are the eternal truths of the human heart, passed down like a torch from hand to hand, from mouth to ear, across the ages. And so Icarus learned not just the tales, but the truth behind them. He learned that the fables were not mere entertainment for children, but the deep roots of wisdom, the unchanging soil from which the civilization of Greece would grow. They were the whisper of the gods, not in thunder, but in the quiet voice of the fox, the steady pace of the tortoise, the silent cry of the lamb. They were the foundation upon which the great thinkers, the poets, the philosophers would build their own understanding of the world. And when Icarus, years later, stood on the edge of the Acropolis looking out over the bustling city he had helped to build, he would remember the stone pine tree, the babbling stream, and the voice of his grandfather. He would remember the fox, the tortoise, the wolf, and the lamb. And he would know that the greatest wisdom was not in the grand halls of learning, but in the simple, enduring fables of the earth, told under a starlit sky, where the truth of the human heart was always and forever told.